People hate public corruption, and it is the duty of a district attorney to never sweep it under the rug. Good afternoon. I'm Kim Ogg, Harris County District Attorney. Today, I'm announcing that I have asked the Office of the Attorney General to assume jurisdiction of the 6 public corruption cases pending against 3 former members. Let's let the lights come up. Good afternoon. I'm Kim Ogg, Harris County District Attorney. Today I'm announcing that I have asked the Office of the Texas Attorney General to assume jurisdiction of the 6 public corruption cases pending against 3 former members of Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo's office. They are charged with illegally steering an $11 million contract for COVID outreach to Elevate Strategies, a one-person company with 0 healthcare experience. I'm joined today by members of my own staff, David Mitchum, First Assistant over Courts, and CO Brad Bradford, Special Liaison to Law Enforcement and Prosecutor. I'm also joined by members of the Attorney General's Office. I am joined by Shane Adaway, Division Chief of the Criminal Division, also Major Brian Rasmussen, Sergeant Joel Pridgeton, and finally by a member of the Texas Rangers who worked the case, Darren Parker. The reason I'm taking this action is to safeguard the public's interest and trust in our government. The people of Harris County have a right to expect that their elected district attorney will prosecute corruption committed by public officials regardless of political affiliation. Remember, it was the members of a grand jury made up of a diverse cross-section of Harris County residents who ultimately reviewed the Texas Rangers investigation and the evidence that they uncovered. DAs do not determine the outcomes of cases. Our community does through true bills, no bills, and verdicts at the conclusion of trials. Our job is to ensure that the process is fair. Unfortunately, locally elected prosecutors like myself face enormous challenges when prosecuting public corruption cases because political retaliation is very real, as we have seen. As the top law enforcement official in Harris County, these challenges present major concerns for the public about how public corruption cases will be handled by the next district attorney of Harris County. One candidate, my own party's nominee for district attorney, Sean Tier, has publicly stated that the cases are nothing more than political prosecution, in spite of the fact that he's never had access to the evidence in these cases, and in spite of his own conflict of interest. Tier is currently employed by the Cogdale law firm defending one of the 3 charged defendants, Alex Transfilis. And Tier sought and received the enthusiastic political endorsement of the Harris County judge whose office is at the center of the controversy and ongoing criminal investigation. All of this raises the specter of fixing cases for political support. This is no way to prosecute public corruption. It is the same type of conflict of interest that undermines the public's confidence in our justice system. We cannot have one set of rules for the politically powerful and another set of rules for the powerless. That's why I turn to the largest law enforcement institution in Texas with jurisdiction over public corruption cases. The Office of the Attorney General has sufficient resources to properly prosecute cases of this magnitude and of this importance to the public. They do it routinely, and they do it all over the state. I'd like to thank the Texas Rangers for a very thorough investigation, the Harris County District Attorney's Office Public Corruption Prosecutors for the enormous amount of work that they've done to prepare the cases for trial, and the Office of the Attorney General for stepping in to prosecute these cases to conclusion, preventing them from being fixed by anyone. You know, we have a challenge coin here at the District Attorney's Office. Many DAs do. Mine reads, equal justice for all. That's a theme I chose to give our prosecutor 7.5 years ago when I took office, because it underscores our duty as law enforcement to apply the law equally to everyone, regardless of a person's power, their pocketbook, or their politics. And that's why I will never sit idly by and allow public corruption cases to be dismissed, swept under the carpet, or ever allow the rule of law to be overwhelmed by politics, not as long as I, Kim Ogg, am Harris County District Attorney. I'd like to invite Shane Adaway up to the podium.
Good afternoon. Hello, I am Shane Adaway, and I am the Division Chief of the Criminal Prosecutions Division of the Office of the Texas Attorney General for Ken Paxton. The Criminal Prosecutions and the Law Enforcement Divisions of the Attorney General's Office will assist the Harris County District Attorney's Office and the Texas Rangers with criminal cases involving the Harris County Judge's Office and its role in manipulating the bidding process for public outreach contract funded by COVID-19 relief funds. The Law Enforcement and Criminal Prosecutions Divisions regularly provide investigative and prosecutorial assistance throughout the state of Texas. When the time is appropriate, our investigators and prosecutors will present evidence to a Harris County jury. Further, because these are indicted cases and the ongoing investigations, we will not be discussing any details of the investigation or the cases today.
Questions?
Yes, I have. There have been claims that this is politically motivated. Those claims, I'm assuming, are still continuing, and now you're deferring to another office that those claims will probably continue now towards the other office. What is your response to that?
People hate public corruption, and it is the duty of the DA to never sweep it under the rug. I've gone to the largest, best resourced law enforcement agency in Texas to ask for their assistance, because evidence is not political. It is simply evidence, and I want this case heard by a Harris County jury.
Kim, come January 1st, can whichever candidate wins the office, retract the case from the Attorney General, reclaim it, so to speak?
You know, that decision will be up to a judge after whoever becomes the next district attorney makes such a determination. But I think at this point, we've got almost 8 months to go before my term of office ends. That's plenty of time to get these cases tried. They've been pending for some time. The public wants to know the answers, and I'm looking to the Attorney General's office to pick it up where we left off.
Does the judge in the 174 still have to sign off on all this?
You'd have to ask the judge. No, when I consent to jurisdiction and the Attorney General has concurrent jurisdiction, there's no judicial approval required.
Can you address the conflict with Dan Cogdell representing the Attorney General?
I can't address that. I've been assured that their office is capable of handling that issue, and I'm not sure what the current status of Mr. Cogdell and the Attorney General are. What I can tell you is that the Democratic nominee works for Dan Cogdell, who represents Alex Trantofilis, one of the parties in this case. It is a clear conflict of interest for Mr. Tier to, should he be elected, to try and handle this case. And to handpick another DA is not the solution. I've gone to a group that handles these cases regularly all over Texas.
Why wait now to defer the cases instead of originally when they were first filed?
Because it was my intent that our office would prosecute the cases. But with the results of the election and the uncertainty about when the case will be tried, I felt it was my duty to get it to an office that I knew would not allow this case to be swept under the rug.
Is it possible that more defendants could be added as this investigation continues?
Well, that would be up to the Attorney General's office.
In your opinion?
It's always possible. You know, cases change, they metamorphose. New evidence comes in, so anything is possible.
And how close is this case to being trial ready based upon what you know has been gathered? A tremendous amount of work has been done by your office and the Rangers. Is it ready to go?
Well, I don't want to announce our new partner's readiness for trial without letting them address that. I think they've got a lot of work to do, but I can tell you that our prosecutors have the case in good shape. All of the evidence has been delivered to the defense, and we'd like to see the case tried sooner rather than later because that's what the public wants. The public deserves to see the evidence in the case, and I would urge all members of the media to take a look at what's in the public record, because often what we see are simply defensive theories put forth. Meanwhile, the prosecution is limited in what we can say in terms of ongoing investigations and prosecutions. But the public record is clear, and that's what I would refer you and the rest of the public to.
Just to be clear, is this a recusal of the Harris County District Attorney's Office?
It is not. It is a consent for the Attorney General to utilize his concurrent jurisdiction and prosecute these cases.
Okay, thank you.
I have something for the members of the press. These are our challenge coins. They weren't printed this year, they were printed 7.5 years ago. Brian, would you like a challenge coin?
Absolutely. There was a reason I was here. Thank you.
My pleasure. Anybody else?